Happy holidays, everybody. We're back here on Raptors today, and today I'm joined by Eric Smith, Warren Ward, and guys, let's get into it. On Sunday, the Raptors, 10th loss in a row. Tough game, started out rough, ended up being a 29-point loss. Over the last 3 games, the Raptors are giving up 141 points per game. But it started tough. Those turnovers in the first 2 minutes, or maybe 5 or 6 in the first few minutes of the game. But that second quarter and the second half and how the Hawks pulled away. What did you guys think of that on a team that just came off of giving up a franchise worst 155 points to the Grizzlies?
I was frustrated by it, as I think a lot of fans probably were and a lot of us probably were watching, because if you go back to the last game, Sherman, with Memphis and giving up 155 and the most in franchise history, and seeing Darko ejected and how animated he was in his comments after the game, you would have thought that would fire up and inspire the players a little bit more than perhaps it did. And then we saw and heard a similar message after the ball game last night from Darko, from Scotty, about the fight within the team and whether it's fatigue or what excuse or factor it is. But I would have liked to have seen a little more punch from the jump. And the fact that they kind of wrote the same script in the first, as you said, 90 seconds, let alone 2-3 minutes, that was just a continuation of last game. That was a letdown for me, I think, and for a lot of people.
You know, I remember Jokic was saying in Serbia, when teams don't show up to play, and, you know, like, as you know, your check is a little bit light at the end of the month. And he's like, maybe they should start doing that in the NBA and see how hard teams play. I was just disappointed in the effort and some of the turnovers. Like, they almost set a record, NBA record. They had 31 last night, 32, and it would tie the record for most in the game. Some of them were just careless crossover turnovers that high school players make. That type of stuff to me is inexcusable at this level, and that's what was frustrating for me. I don't want to say like I don't care if the Raptors don't win or lose, because I do care. I'm invested in, you know, like in this team, as we all are. But how you lose is more important than actually just catching an L. And it's how they're losing that is frustrating. You know, I understand they're in games. They've lost 14 games by less than 6 points. Check. Like, you know, you're showing up for the effort. But these losses, 156, 140, or 134, some of them are just, they're bothersome because it's more of an effort thing than it is an execution thing.
Yeah, and we can talk about the turnovers, because the turnovers were, I mean,
immense.
Some of them weren't even forced by the Hawks. You know what I mean? They were kind of self-inflicted turnovers. But there's another part to this. On the defensive side of the basketball, I personally feel that there are missed assignments, and when you're playing against a team like the Atlanta Hawks, where you know they can shoot the ball. They got a guy who can shoot the lights out of the ball. The missed assignments defensively are the ones that are more concerning to me. The turnovers, they bother me, and I can understand Darko being frustrated with some of those turnovers. But to me, there's a point where things aren't working, then control the controllable. Mm-hmm. And what you can control is that effort defensively and the ability to rebound the ball and to go after it. And I thought there was slippage in that game against the Hawks in terms of that perspective. Forget the turnovers.
It's the things that you can control, right? And, I mean, you guys can speak to it better than I can from having played the game at a high elite level. But if we can sit here and say, Sherm, you just brought it up, let's use Trae Young as the example. Dude can pull up from 30, 32 feet, if not further, consistently and confidently. You know that, I know that, everybody knows that. The players know that. The Raptor players know that. The coaching staff knows that. The coaching staff is preparing these guys. They're putting together the scouting reports. They're going over video. They're working on everything in practice. And then come game time, what is it? Vapor lock? You just forget the KYP of know your personnel, know who you're guarding, know what their tendencies are. If we know it within a broadcast, we're watching as a fan on TV or whatever it is. You know those guys know. So it does come down to then effort, and that's why I thought last night it was a key talking point after the ball game about the body language of the team as well. And listen, I'd be feeling down too. My shoulders would be slumped if I was in the midst of a 10-game losing streak. But that's where you got to kind of battle through those things.
Yeah. You just talked about Trae Young, and we just saw his highlights and what he was able to do. 34 and 10, efficient from the floor. How impressed are you guys with what Trae Young is doing? The Hawks are surprising people with their play, how good they've played. And Warren, when you think about a player who, and I said this on the broadcast, Trae Young and Luka Doncic are always going to be joined.
Yes.
They're always going to be spoken about in the same breath. Luka Doncic had a big year last year. And if you're Trae Young, you've got to make some decisions about who you're going to be as a leader, as a franchise guy. And yes, the franchise moved off of DeJounte Murray, created space for, Hunter and these other guys to get going. But Trae Young has done something special. He's taken back the scoring, and he said, I am going to be an assist guy. I'm going to set everybody up because I need you to help me to help us. How impressed are you with that?
Well, I think for this age group or this day and age in the NBA, he is a real point guard, and he's playing like one. He's a tactician in a ball screen. He can score literally at all 4 levels. He can get to the free throw line. He can definitely hit up. I think his floater is better than Steph at the same age, if you were to compare the two of them. So he can get in the paint, float, has a nasty flotation device. He can hit threes. And on top of that, he can make plays. His vision is incredible. So I'm impressed with the fact that he's been doing that. He's been doing it consistently for a number of years. Has he figured out a way to win yet? That's the missing piece.
To that point, tell me if I'm crazy with this. He's not MVP caliber. He's damn good. All-star, no doubt. Not MVP caliber, but when I start looking, Sherman, you brought up some of the names, and you think about Johnson. Heck, last night they didn't even have Bogdanovich playing. They didn't have Dyson Daniels playing. This, to me, could be an OKC-ish type team with young talent that's coming together and guys knowing their role, playing their role. They're deep. They've got they can play different styles. They can play quick. They can defend. They can shoot. I see some Thunder-esque qualities to this Atlanta team with that youth that they have, sprinkling the right veteran pieces potentially around these guys. Maybe Atlanta's on a much quicker rise in the East than we probably would have anticipated or thought about a year ago.
And you said that yesterday.
Yeah, and Quinn Snyder doing a good job with what he's got
Yep.
and understanding. This team is top 3 in pace, so they're utilizing that youth and the ability to get up and down.
Absolutely.
All right, let's hear from the Raptors after a tough loss to the Atlanta Hawks. Let's hear from a guy who came back after 8 months off the court in Bruce Brown.
The bench had a huge reaction when you had that dunk in the first quarter. How did it feel to have that dunk? How did it feel to see your teammates jumping up, excited for you?
It felt good. It's just because they didn't think I can jump because I haven't jumped really, or they haven't seen it, and then they didn't see it the last year. But I told them I can do it, and I was like, if I get the chance to, I'm going to dunk it. So, and in warm-ups, I tried to dunk, and I got hung. So, it felt good to do it. I knew I was going to do it at half court, though. So.
How much of the reaction did you see? Like, I don't know if you know, but IQ and Garrett actually chest pumped when you did that.
No, I seen it after. As I said, I couldn't really. My last dunk last year was probably like when I first played the Pacers. So, it's been longer than 8 months since the last time I dunked, so it felt amazing.
What do you think this team needs right now?
I just think everyone's tired. Traveling. People are sick right now. The flu's going through, the stomach virus. Coach said we hit the wall. So everybody looked a little tired today. So we just need some rest, and we'll push through it. All teams have this at some point, even championship teams. So we'll push through it. We'll be fine. We just go out there and play as hard as we can, and I think we'll win games.
When you had the surgery on, I guess it's September 20th, do you think you'd be out that long?
No, not at all. I thought it was going to be out like 6 to 8 weeks, but some things didn't go my way. There was a lot of swelling in there for a while. So, things happen, and then I was supposed to come back like 3-4 weeks ago, but there was still swelling there. So they told me to take my time, and when I'm ready, I can come back, and I'm very grateful for them for that.
You talked about trusting your knee again, and dunking in your first game back was one way to test that trust. Yeah. But how did it feel in terms of like even just the mental level?
I didn't really think about it. And there was one move, Garrison Matthew blocked my layup, but I jumped off my right leg. And it felt good. I thought about it after the fact. I was like, oh shit, I did that. And then defensively, I can move, right? I can guard, get over screens, get people in the line, just play with energy. So it felt good.
Hey, it's JYD. Thanks for watching the Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe for more.
Fine. Taken away by the Raps on the run. Fits to JYD. Beautiful pass. Chuck, one of the things I'm noticing about this Cardinals